I'm Seth Rigoletti. I'm a leadership communication coach, and what that means is basically I work with individuals and organizations helping them get clarity about themselves and about the work that they're doing so that they can communicate and have an impact on anybody. I was able to see this potential in people that they didn't actually see in themselves right away. It just surprised me that they had this, wow, what do you mean you can't do that? You can totally do that. And let me show you how you can totally do that. As a leader, you have to be able to connect. You have to be able to be vulnerable. You have to be able to be clear when you talk to people. You have to be persuasive.
I thought talking for 18 minutes unscripted without notes sounded like a lot of time, and I found it really daunting. Before I met with Seth, I was not inclined to make the talk as personal. I thought that the more I talked about the history of the telling room, the more I would invite the listeners in, but it turned out not to be the case.
This is what Seth did for me. He took this really big idea that I had, and he helped me focus it and winnow it down into something extremely translatable to an audience. I was learning how to hold my posture, I was learning how to breathe, I was learning how to look people in the eye. By the time I got up there, it didn't feel risky anymore. I had really worked through all that.
If all you could be was authentic, if that's all you could be, that would be more than enough. You are already more than enough. So then the next step is to understand what's getting in the way. What is your core belief? Fundamentally, if the essence of what it is that you do you know what that is? And if you don't know what that is, that's the heart of your communication problem.
Bristol Seafood celebrated its 20th year. We were a successful company making reasonably good profits. I realized that my business goals and my personal goals weren't in sync with each other. And so I was sort of looking for some answers, some clarity. So I started talking with Seth. If I have a belief in sustainability and reducing carbon footprints personally, why can't I do that business? And why can't we make that profitable? A big part of what I did with Seth was to be able to figure out how to communicate my belief and what I wanted to do with the company. First of all, internally to the employees, and then second of all, going out to the industry and saying, here's who Bristol is, and here's why we're doing this. And yes, we're going to probably be a little more expensive than our competitor, but here's why, because all of our packaging is recyclable. You have all these food safety initiatives that are going on here to make sure your customer is getting a top product. And I couldn't do that prior to working with Seth. The message was getting lost in translation.
I think the most satisfying piece is when you see people realize their potential. We're all capable of being this bright beacon for whatever it is we're trying to accomplish. And we want that from each other. We really want people to just be themselves. We talk a lot about authenticity, but we really want that. And authenticity, when it happens in that moment where people just claim their power, where they take their space and say, this is who I am and this is what I have to say, it liberates everybody in the room.